Hello and welcome back to my channel. As if you don't know, I'm Dahlia De Winters, and that's my pen name, not my government name. And today we're going to be talking about the horror tag. So stay tuned. Heyo, welcome back to my channel. Nice to see you here again. Today we're going to be talking about the horror tag, and as usual, you know I have notes because I'm not going to try to pretend to talk off the cuff about any of this. Well, maybe a little bit off the cuff, but I need my questions, so hold on one second. I'm not exactly sure who I got this tag from. I just know that since I like horror movies that I wanted to do it, and if I find out the tag, who it is, I'll put it in the description box. So let's look at the first question. First question is, what's the first horror movie you remember watching? Oh, the first horror movie ever I remember watching was The Blob from 1958. That's the one that's starring Steve McQueen. It was just very creepy to me. Steve McQueen looked super old to be a high school student, and this blob was running around basically sucking up and dissolving people. And I think it came out of a can in some black dude's kitchen. Like, he went to the kitchen, to the freezer, and I guess he was defrosting something for dinner, and somehow the blob was in the freezer. So he takes it out and defrosts it, and then he goes to the garage to watch a football game or something, and next thing you know, the blob done got him and sucked him up. So that was the beginning of that for me. I thought that was really scary because it's like, you taking something out of the freezer and it eats you up. I really don't remember any more context than that, and I might be wrong. I might be talking about the wrong movie, but that's what I remember. So it may not be The Blob, and if it's not The Blob, I'll make sure to note that either in the video itself or on the description. Question 2 is, what is your favorite horror movie? That is such a hard question. It really depends on what mood I'm in, whether I'm in the mood to see a slasher, whether I'm in the mood to see a suspenseful horror, or something that's, you know, a thinking person's horror. But overall, I think my favorite horror movie is Jaws. I remember when Jaws came out, I never saw it in the theater because I was but a small child back in the 70s. But I heard a lot about it, and it made me scared to go to the beach. I did not want to go to the beach. I didn't want to go down the shore because I knew Jaws was waiting right there in 3 inches of water to snap me up. So my favorite horror movie is Jaws. What's your favorite horror movie genre? Well, if you have read any of the reviews on my blog or see what I talk about in the Facebook group called Colors in Darkness, you'll know that my favorite genre above all is found footage. I don't know what it is about the found footage genre that I love so much. It just seems like a bunch of people, hey, let's go into an abandoned asylum, an abandoned hospital, an abandoned mine, an abandoned school where lots of kids died, anything abandoned and spooky, they're going to run in there with those cameras and are guaranteed to get into some trouble. And believe me, I'm right there for it. So found footage is my favorite genre within the horror genre. Question 4. What genre scares me the most? I have to say that I really am freaked out by zombies. I don't really know why. It's just the image of all these what used to be human getting together and just mindlessly walking down the street looking for human flesh. And like 1 or 2 are okay, but then you get this mob and they can push the car over, they can bust into your house, bust the windows open. It's just crazy, and it's just really scary. And but I watch them. I watch the movies, but it really scares me, even more than ghost stories, because ghosts, I don't know, but the zombies really kind of freak me out the most. Question 5. What's the last horror movie you watched that scared you? You know, the funny thing about this is I actually wrote the answers out for this horror tag about a year ago, and just recently rediscovered it and said, okay, let me go over my answers and, you know, revamp them. I revamped some of them, not a lot. They basically stayed the same. But the funny thing is, before I read the question, what horror movie scared me the most? And this movie immediately popped into my head. Then I looked at the notes I had written from last year, and it's the same movie. And that movie is The Autopsy of Jane Doe. I don't know what it is about the movie that frightened me so, but it was scary, it was unpredictable, and it was something that obviously you knew something normal wasn't in the mix. It wasn't like it was something that was supernatural, but you didn't quite know what it was. And I think that's what made it a little scary, because they would feed you the clues one at a time, and you just really didn't know what was going on until basically you really got into it and understood. Now, I know a lot of people say, well, I knew what was going on from the very beginning. You know what? I watch the movie. I enjoy the movie. I take the movie for as it comes with it. I don't try to figure everything out from, like, you know, reel one or minute one, because I mean, I want to enjoy the movie. They're trying to scare me. I'm going to give them a chance. Why not, right? So The Autopsy of Jane Doe is the movie that has apparently hung on for an entire year that scared me the most. Who is your ultimate scream queen? Now, I know I'm going to get a lot of trash for this, but I have to say, yes, Janet Leigh, yes, Jamie Lee Curtis, but I think the woman who has the best scream, who actually wasn't in a lot of horror movies, is Nancy Allen. I happened to see her. She was in, what's that movie? Blowout, with John Travolta. And it was basically a thriller, not a horror. But John Lithgow was also in it along with John Travolta. And her scream at the end was really good, really scary, and just one of the best screams I've heard since I've been watching movies. Question 7. What's a concept you'd like to see in horror? First of all, horror people, horror makers, horror movie directors, stop making sequels. Stop making remakes. Jason Goes to Hell, Jason Goes to Manhattan, Jason in Space, Leprechaun in the Hood, Leprechaun is... All right. We can stop at that. Remaking The Hills Have Eyes, remaking The Texas Chainsaw Massacre with the 20 million sequels, remaking, I don't know what else they're remaking, but they're like remaking everything. They're remaking The Twilight Zone, reimagining. Do you not have any ideas? I'll give you an idea. One of the concepts I'd like to see in a horror movie is, I like the paradox bending, time paradox, time bending type movie. In Grave Encounters, they go into an abandoned asylum. Imagine that. And they can't get out because the asylum is itself haunted. And spoiler alert, I mean, the movie's like years old, but spoiler alert for Grave Encounters, they can't get out because even though they think they're getting out, the building itself is changing around them. And I really like that concept because it makes you wonder, is there a way that you can actually get out if the building itself is changing around you? This is supposed to be an exit. Nope, it's a brick wall. Can you get out the window? Nope, you open the window. It's a cage or whatever. So that would be an interesting concept I'd like to see explored more in horror movies. What's your favorite on-screen kill? This is actually a really funny question because in my horror group, Colors and Darkness on Facebook, if you wanted to peek in, I'll put the link down in the description box. I put up a poll because I had been watching Final Destination, the Final Destination movies, and I realized that my favorite on-screen kill is not just one kill, it's a whole bunch of kills, and that is the logging truck sequence from Final Destination 2, where they're on the highway and the logs come off the truck and cause this huge crash. So that's my favorite on-screen kill, or kills. What's your favorite horror franchise? I actually have two, and I know, let's just pick one. No, I got two, all right? I like Alien, the Alien franchise. Let me just be clear. Alien and Aliens. The other ones I can watch, but they're not exactly my favorite. My other favorite horror franchise is Final Destination, and I actually just finished watching 2, 3, and 4 yesterday. Well, not watching, but they were on in the background while I was working. So Alien and Final Destination are my two favorite horror franchises. Question 10 is, who's your favorite horror director? John Carpenter. I will watch Halloween from 1978 anytime it's on. I think it's really well done. I think it's a excellent example of a slow burn horror, people peeking out from behind hedges and getting stalked, and you're wondering who's going to get killed next. So I like him, and of course I like Alfred Hitchcock, who was one of the masters of horror. I'm going to add a bonus question, which I guess would be bonus question number 11. What famous horror movie have you not seen? I have never seen The Exorcist. I will not watch The Exorcist. The Exorcist came on CBS Channel 2 when I was a little kid. I saw like one piece of it. I was like frightened to death. To this day, I have not watched The Exorcist and probably will never watch The Exorcist. I've seen clips. The clips are enough to scare the pants off me. I don't know, it's the irrational fear, that head turning around, that spider walk down the stairs. Yeah, I've seen all that. And I'm like, you know what? That is enough for me. I don't need to see any more of this film. So, yeah, I will not be seeing The Exorcist ever. So there you have it. That's the horror tag. If you would like to do the tag, beep, consider yourself tagged. I've posted the questions in the description box for your convenience. And when you do the video, come on back here and leave a link to your video in the comments. I'd really love to see what other people's answers to the questions are. Until next time, peace, love, and productive writing. Bye-bye.
Until next time, pleasant dreams.